Stream health. Come on, stream. Everything else says it's going. Why aren't you doing it, YouTube? What's your problem? There it goes. Oh my God, Ben, Ben,
What?
Ben. We're live on the internet.
Oh boy.
Oh my God. I should probably update the name of the live stream. Oh God, Ben.
It's episode 2.
Episode 2. All hail our VR overlords. I think that's good. Oh man, I don't know why I did that. Okay. Finally here. Lionhead gets closed out. More. Form. Half steps. VR out the wazoo. All right. Hi, Ben.
How's it going?
Doing well. I never asked this. I don't think you can hear it, but you can't hear the fan in my background, can you?
No, sir.
Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. Hey, welcome. This is the Cheap Old Gamer Podcast, the Cogcast, whatever the hell. I don't know. I don't even know what I called it last time. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Ben.
And here's Ben. Hi, Ben. Say
How's...
hi.
Hi, Ben.
You're so funny, Ben. I love you. And we're here to talk about games and shit. So, Ben, let's just dive right in. You play anything good since the last time we recorded?
I finally bought Rocket League.
Finally?
Yeah. I waited and waited until it got like sub $10 and then bought it on sale.
What'd you
Along
buy
with
it on?
what do you mean? Where did I or what?
Like, what platform?
PC. Duh.
Good answer. Good answer.
I got a buttload of DLC for it. Rather cheap as well.
I see. I didn't buy any of the DLC when I bought it, but I might. But then again, I've only played the game twice since getting it. Like I started it up and I tried to play it with my because it allows for split screen on PC. So I tried to play it with my fiance and she got real mad. Because she's not a gamer and she's like, "You're cheating. You play this a bunch." I was doing horribly, but she was doing so much worse. She thought I was like a pro at the game.
Oh. Yeah, I can imagine split screen not being very good unless it's like a vertical split.
I think it allows you to adjust vertical or horizontal.
Because like horizontal's not so much important. It's the verticality of like being able to see the ball up and down.
I can see that in higher level play, but we're such low level play, I don't think it really mattered because the ball wasn't getting into the air all that much while we were playing.
Yeah, true.
So how are you liking it?
It's a lot of fun.
Um,
That's pretty much all I've been playing this past week or two.
well, you send me an invite next time you see me playing Smite,
Mm.
and I'll ignore it. But eventually, one day, I won't ignore it, and we can play Rocket League together.
All right, I'll probably kick your ass.
I was hoping we could play on the same team, so that way we can just lose to foreigners.
Okay, well I'll carry the team then.
Yes, Ben, hard carry. Anything else you've been up to in the past 2 weeks since we last were all together?
No, that's pretty much it. That and work.
Oh, shit. I gave Tomb Raider a try. I saw a bunch of stuff on the new Tomb Raider game, and I said, I have a Tomb Raider game that I haven't played. So I played the 2013 reboot of the franchise. And,
Yeah, I've put a couple hours into that, and that's about it. It's not very good.
oh,
It's
I
not.
loved it.
It's not bad. It's just not for me.
I got you. I got you. See, I sat down. I was hearing all the talk about that, and then I was like, all these new games are coming out. There's a new Far Cry, there's a new Tomb Raider, and I have the old ones that I haven't even played yet. I'm gonna run like just performance benchmarks using these games just to see what's what. Far Cry 3 does not run very well on my system because it
What?
only uses one processor thread. Like I have 24 core processor, I have 24 threads on my system.
Eh,
Two 6-core processors with hyper-threading. And it
unless you're running
uses,
server system.
yeah, but it only uses one thread. And my speed, since I have so many cores, isn't that high. It's only like, 2.6. So that one thread is maxed out and everything else is just like chilling, not
Yeah.
doing shit. So I have to like crank down everything, and I'm still CPU limited, which is so annoying. I'm never gonna play a Far Cry game because of that. Because apparently that's every game in the series.
Well, apparently Ford wouldn't run unless you had a quad core or higher.
I don't know why, because as far as I know, it still only used one processor thread. But like the Division and when I was in the beta for that, ran everything really great. I could max everything out. I tried Tomb Raider from the 2013 reboot, and it ran amazingly. It ran so amazingly well. I decided to hop into game after running the benchmark, and I was like, okay, it's 11 o'clock at night. I have to be up at work at 5. I'm just gonna run a benchmark, start the game up, see what it's about. I ended up playing it until 4 a.m.
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, I have to finish. I have to come back to this game. I need to go to sleep for an hour and then go to work. So I haven't been back, but man, I had a lot of fun with that little bit that I played. I played it,
Speaking of speaking of maxing things out, I forgot to include that I bought a 960 uh, 4 gig edition
and this is an
um,
upgrade from your. You had a
750 Ti.
yeah.
Um, so I can go through and pretty much max everything out at the resolution I'm playing at.
Well, congratulations. Welcome to the party. Right as new gen stuff is getting ready to be
Hey,
released.
hey, for $100 I couldn't beat it.
Yeah, that's true. $100
It
is not bad,
practically brand new.
and it's not a bad card. You said it was the 4 gig.
Yeah, it's a 4 gig. It's a super clock edition from EVGA. Because why would you buy it from anybody else?
I mean, there's yeah
The
no
the gigabyte cards overclock really well and they look really nice, but they're huge. The Asus cards overclock even a little bit better than the gigabyte ones, but they're ugly as shit. So I went with like the neutral EVGA style because it looks awesome.
I mean, do you have a clear case that you can actually view inside of?
I have an NZXT S340, so yes, I have a mighty big window on the side.
Okay, so I can understand wanting a pretty card then.
Yeah.
See, I have the XFX R9390. No lights, no nothing like that, just a plain black card. But I don't have an open case, so I don't give a shit.
Everything in my case is color coordinated except for the one fan I have on my CPU cooler right now, and it's cool because like it makes sense with the fan, but it's also kind of annoying because it destroys the color coordination that I put together.
You're Ben. I love you. I do. I just you're talking about color coordinating the inside of your case. I
Shut
know
up.
that's a big thing with some people. I've never cared about that. I just care about the raw performance.
It looks great. It performs awesome.
One build that I tried to do a while ago, but had to abandon because the woman I was with at the time hated the fact that I was dropping so much money into it. Was I had a bunch of real old servers, not servers, old HP workstations from like the late '90s, like 99 2000 era. They were like early ATX cases, and I was working on building just a crazy gaming rig inside this horribly ugly beige box computer that looked it looked like a car was how big it was. And she got mad when I started dropping like $300 on parts here, $400 there. So I ended up having to sell everything. But
Yeah, I can imagine that's a lot of money to drop on something like
I
that.
I mean I was building a new rig from scratch. I was planning on dropping like 1500 to 2K on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that dream had to die. Anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and roll into shit. So, part of the Microsoft stuff that came out a little bit after we recorded 2 weeks ago was Microsoft basically saying, "Hey, Sony, we're down for cross-platform play. What?" And oh man, this would have been a good segue 10 minutes ago if I had thought about it. Yo, Rocket League, you can play with PC now, and if you want PS4, what?
And you can play all three together.
Oh man, it's like an orgy up in there.
Yeah.
So I mean,
An orgy of 12-year-olds,
cursing and
racists
yelling,
and cursing and swearing and stuff.
and Ben, just Ben being Ben online.
No,
Ugh.
I actually don't play games with a mic on because I don't like talking to people.
Why don't you like talking to people, Ben? You're so
Because
personable.
people are stupid and people are horrible.
I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody's wonderful all the time.
Y-
But do you see any like long term implications of this decision? Like, do you think that us as PC gamers are going to start seeing Xbone gamers in any of our? Well, I don't think we're going to see them in any of our shooters. I think
No, and the
anybody who'd
shooters.
implement that would be hilariously stupid.
Yeah, it'll be just like when they did the Games Windows Live push back when Vista came out with was Shadowrun.
That game, I actually enjoyed that game.
Well, see, it was all right, because you actually get to play PC and
Console.
console together. But like, it was sad because the PC people with their mice and keyboard were just literally running circles around the
Yeah.
console people.
Like you could be a mediocre PC player and just wreck face in that game as against console players.
Yeah, and of course, as we all know, that didn't go anywhere, and that was like one of the only games to ever do like cross platform between PC and Xbox before it came crashing down to the ground.
Yeah, I think that there was one more game that they were working on that was cross-platform, and at the time, and that one ended up getting canceled. There was rumors because I don't know if you remember this, but the original Gears of War. This is the Ultimate Edition that just came out.
Mm.
It's actually the second PC release of the original Gears of War
Yeah,
because the original one did come out on PC. And it
yeah,
was a game for Windows game. I think it was like a Windows Vista.
yeah. It was a Vista required.
Was it Vista or was it 7?
No, it was a Vista required.
Okay. Yeah, it required whatever the current version of Microsoft. Are you sure? Because I know that Vista was required for Halo. Wasn't 7 out by then?
I don't think
I gotta
so.
look it up. Now I gotta look it up.
All I know is that I knew somebody who downloaded Gears of War for the PC illegally a long time ago, and was wondering why it wasn't running on their Dell Optiplex 3000 bare bones system. And I looked at him and said, "You're a console person. You're an idiot."
You're so dumb. You dumb. You so dumb. You dumb. Okay, here I found it. Unreal Engine 3 live for gold members. Product description requires. Come on, specifications. Yes.
It was a DX10 game, so it probably was Vista.
Yeah, I think you're right. Must create an account. Oh man, people are talking. People are talking about. I have a new high-end PC and it doesn't run it well. I have a Core 2 quad-core processor, 2 gigs of RAM, and an 8800 GTS. This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Oh boy, 8800 GTS. I found one of those the other day and used it as a paperweight.
I have my old 9600 GT somewhere around here. Oh, actually, no, I gave that away to a friend of mine to use in his system.
That generation was such a waste. But yeah, so I don't know. So I'm gonna say this. I have a lot of friends. By a lot, I mean like 3, who are console peasants and still play console games, and I'm kind of looking forward to this.
Hmm.
I wouldn't
Hmm.
mind wrecking face against them on some games,
Yeah,
especially
yeah, it
against
was
Smite.
it was a Vista.
Okay, okay. So Ben, you were right. Something you'll never hear me say again. Yeah, I'm really hoping to wreck some face and Smite with some cross-platform. High Res hasn't announced any cross-platform play for that, but I'm really, really hoping they do.
Yeah,
If for nothing else, because I main Medusa, and apparently on the console versions, Medusa is such a bitch because you can't escape her ultimate. Like you just can't because you can't turn around fast enough.
yeah. See, what was it? I actually disabled the cross-platform stuff um, in Rocket League just to. I don't know. It's been out on the PlayStation a lot longer, and a lot more people have it, so there's a lot more chance that I'm gonna get my ass kicked. So
So you
I
wanted
haven't
to feel high and mighty.
I haven't stepped into the online part yet. I've still been playing bot matches for a while, but like I just keep cranking up the difficulty and getting my ass handed to me.
I'm very bad at that game. Very,
Yeah,
very, very bad. I enjoy it. I see the potential there. I don't think I'm gonna catch Rocket Fever like everybody else has. Although apparently the March update adds basketball in.
which makes me want to play it less now
Yeah, that's what it did for me.
because it looks like it requires a lot of airplay, and I am horrible in the air.
And come on, man, it's all about jumping and diving and stuff.
I'm also very bad at like chasing the ball when it rolls up the wall. I'm either just a split second too late or a split second too soon, and I ended up shooting it backwards towards my goal, or I go flying past it and end up sitting on the ceiling like an idiot.
There were a couple of times when I was playing where I accidentally knocked it into my goal.
Yeah, I've done that quite a few times.
But yeah, another cross-platform game that we were. I don't know if you were looking forward to it, but I was actually looking forward to it. The Fable Legends.
No,
No, you weren't looking forward to it at all.
I gave up on Fable after the first one.
Really, you didn't like the first one?
I had it on the PC and um, it ran fine, but there was like a severe bug that it would just crash like straight to desktop, um, and they just never fixed it.
Well, Ben, I have good news for you. Lionhead, the maker of Fable games, yeah, they're dead.
Yeah, whatever.
You have no love for that platform.
I'm 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 crushed.
See, you seem like somebody who would have actually enjoyed a lot of Lionhead games.
I played Black and White 2 a little bit. Um, Probably not much past the tutorial area just because it got a little over my head. I'm not very much of an RTS or strategy person. Um, and then I never got into Spore because that was
That's
that
not
a,
Spore. That was
oh that was
the
the
Sims
Sims
guy.
people. Sorry. Um, yeah, and then
The
like
movies.
going back to like the RTS stuff, I wasn't big into like Populous and all that other kind of crap that they put out.
A lot of that stuff was actually Bullfrog, but yeah, the studio that Molyneux built, it's dead now.
Yeah,
I don't think it's officially dead yet as of when we're recording this, but a week and a half
yeah,
ago they said that they were in discussions for closing, which in the UK basically means yeah, unless a
yeah.
miracle
They bring in like administrators and they pretty much go in
closers.
there to like to counsel the place and to like, hey, this is what's going to happen because you're going to be shut down soon.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is that since they're in the UK and according to UK law, Microsoft has to do their best effort to find jobs for them.
Yeah,
So hopefully a lot of them will land on their feet, but like it still sucks. Like it may not mean much to you, but you know, I was a hardcore Xbox gamer for a while.
yeah,
So, you know, Fable 1 and 2 I got real into, and I was actually kind of looking forward to, you know, this asymmetrical gameplay.
yeah,
Um, from what I heard, from what I heard, the people who liked it really, really liked it. Everybody else was just kind of meh on it.
yeah,
But I mean, it was a free to play game. So, you know, I'm the cheap old gamer, so I play a bunch of free to play games. So, you know, I was looking forward to a
yeah.
new
I
free
think
game to give a try.
a lot of what I heard about um, Lionhead being shut down was like it's been a long time coming since they demoed the what was the Connect version of Fable. It
Oh,
was kind of like a rail shooter kind of deal, but
yeah.
it's just kind of been downhill since then.
So, like, you know, I'm real big. I've been real big into PC gaming for like the last 5 years, but I've been PC gaming for about, I want to say 15 years now. I've been console gaming since I was born.
Hmm.
Like, in my nursery, when I was a child, you know, my parents bought a Nintendo Entertainment System when I was a baby, and they would like sit and hold me in their laps while they played Tetris.
Yeah,
So like I've been exposed to video games since a very young age. I've been playing console games for a very long time, and the Molyneux games have always been like, you know, a part of my life, and the studios he helped built and then abandoned. Um, and so like, you know, man, I'm just like, a part of me is real crushed because I really enjoyed Fable, Fable 1 especially. Fable 2 I liked. I didn't like it as much as Fable 1, but I loved Fable 1. I think I've played that game like 7 or 8 times all the way through start to finish.
yeah. I mean, like when it ran on my system, I had fun playing it, but
Yeah.
like just the crashing to desktop with no warning and losing hours of progress was like really crappy.
You need a quick save more often, friend.
Yeah, well,
I don't know. I mean, they also closed as part of this announcement, Press Play, and as a matter of fact, like, you know, this isn't in the notes, but apparently they're also closing like 3 or 4 other smaller studios. as a
I'm
part of this.
unfamiliar with press play.
Press Play, they did Max, some game called Max and the Curse of Brotherhood. I don't think I ever played that game. Let me pull it up.
Max.
Max and the Curse of Brotherhood. Let me see. Yeah, I didn't play this game. I really appreciated the art on this game. It looked real interesting.
No,
It
never heard of
has
that
it
one.
has mixed reviews. Let's see. But yeah, Press Play is getting closed. They were working on a game called Project Knoxville, which I thought the real interesting thing about Knoxville was that they had had a lot of community involvement. They had basically laid out, hey, here's the things that we're thinking about working on. Which one do you want us to actively work on? And Knoxville won the community vote, so they were literally working on a community, not community sponsored, but community driven game
Yeah.
where they were working real close hand in hand with the people, their fans, which I appreciate when a dev does that, especially one that's under Microsoft Studios thumb. You don't see that a lot out of big publishers allowing
No.
their devs to do that. So I thought it was interesting, but that's also canceled. Like I said, Microsoft did cut out a couple other studios. They didn't get as much fanfare as Lionhead and Press Play, just because they were the big ones. But I think it's kind of ironic that Microsoft is talking up this big game of like, oh yeah, cross-platform development and play, and we want to be your friends on the PC market, and we just closed like 7 studios, like 500 people just got fired. But yeah, games, yeah, we're here for the games, cross-platform shit, yeah.
I don't know. Press play kind of, or not. But Knoxville kind of looks like a another third-person survival game, like, or not like a third person, but just like a survival game in general, like Project or Date. Was it?
Arc and stuff like that.
Yeah, those I don't care about those at all.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it's a Microsoft developed game. How many of those games outside of Minecraft are there really on the platform?
Yeah,
Like we as PC gamers, we see
a
these
thousand of those all the
yeah.
time.
There's Arc, there's Don't Starve Together,
There's H1Z1.
H1Z1. We have our pick of the litter when it comes to those games. But on the console, it's like it's Minecraft, which I feel like that entire genre grew out of Minecraft, and then what was it? What was the mod? DayZ?
Yeah,
Yeah, they grew out of that because they have that. You start with shit, and then you got to go punch, depending on the game, you have to go punch some shit to get some wood to go start making shit to start killing other players.
yeah,
So I feel like those two genres go hand in hand, but we don't see shit, especially not on the Microsoft platform. They have Minecraft and that's it, and Minecraft doesn't even have the persistent online feature that a lot of the other games do.
yeah.
Rust with floppy donkey dicks everywhere.
I heard. I heard Arc is going to be implementing a defecate option to feign death. So get ready for a lot of like poo flinging videos coming out.
I don't play Ark. I kind of want to play Ark now.
Your door shutting video is now going to be dwarfed by people flinging poo everywhere.
I mean, I can make a poo flinging video.
And
I'd
you
love
spend
to.
you spend $50 on a shitty game just to make a
I see what you did there. Shitty.
ha ha ha.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah. No, I'm gonna miss Lionhead.
Yeah,
The writing had been on the wall since the God, what was it? The one that you're talking about, the Fable horse
Connect
riding
demo.
adventure.
Yeah,
And then what was that? The Peter Molyneux one with the little boy that he would talk to.
Milo.
Yeah, Milo. Oh, thank you. That was real creepy.
It was cool.
It was cool conceptually, but from the moment I saw that, I said, "This is Molyneux being Molyneux. We're never gonna get this." The Xbox
Yeah.
360, even at the time, which this was 7 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
5. Yeah, I think we're getting. Man, I feel old.
Molyneux's king of over promising things and delivering on like one.
I mean, yeah, he promised BC. I don't know if do you remember BC?
Yeah, BC was Arc before Arc was around. It was another survival kind of thing.
But
People
not
running around.
multiplayer, all single player, and people fighting dinosaurs. I remember the Fable announcement. I was so excited because you, as a child, could plant an acorn and watch it grow over the course of the game.
Yeah.
Guess what was not in there?
That.
Acorns.
Everything.
No acorns. None of that. Like, you had the scarring, which they had talked about, like, oh, if you get beat up as a kid and you die, you'll wake up and you'll have a permanent scar, and the scar will mean something. It was just a new texture on your
Yeah.
character that you didn't see because, let's
You were
face it,
facing away from the camera the whole time.
plus this was 2002 graphics, which, while the original Xbox was able to do some HD games,
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember that, by the way. Did you remember that the original Xbox actually did HD?
No.
Yeah, like Soul Calibur. I remember Soul Calibur particularly because I loved playing it on my HD TV when I got it. I think it could do 1080p,
Hmm.
but it still did letterboxing. So it was super high resolution, but only using 1/3 of my screen.
Great.
But yeah, most games look like shit from back then. Yeah, if you're nostalgic for that time frame, go back and actually play some of those games. Some GameCube games still look real good. Xbox
Yeah.
games, not so much. Halo, the
Well,
original Halo still looks okay.
yeah. Well,
Surprisingly.
speaking of games looking better and higher resolutions and things like that,
I like what you did there, Ben.
yes, Sony is talking about releasing a PlayStation 4.5 or an iteration on it to support 4K games and VR.
Which
A lot of people are very unhappy about that, and a lot of people are very unsure about that as well because it's like people just spent $400 or $500, maybe even more. I'm not sure how much the PS4 costs, but
the
they
PS4
just
was
bought
cheaper
it.
than the Xbox.
They
I
just
think.
bought it like a year or two ago.
Yeah, it's like we're about we'd be entering like the start of the wind down for consoles for anything prior to last generation.
Yeah,
Like if we were on a normal 4 to 5 year cycle, we're entering year 3,
this is where games are supposed to be getting really, really good on the consoles.
but we haven't seen that.
Yeah,
And if we base this off last generation, we'd only just be maybe starting to enter the halfway point.
hmm
And both consoles have felt real dated since the beginning. Like,
yeah, and even like Sony's not even the only one as well. Like Xbox is talking about doing like a yearly iteration, like an iPhone model.
yeah, and
You
I
know,
think I think we had talked about some of that last time.
mm,
So now it seems like both the hardware. I mean, I appreciate the fact that both the hardware makers are saying, "Hey, our shit isn't good enough." Because as a PC gamer, since most games get designed for console first, like them getting better games means that it's going to trickle into better usage of like the hardware that I have in my system.
mm.
But at the same time, man, that sucks. Like my
If
my tower is using like an 8-year-old CPU that still outperforms the fucking shit on the desktops like by leaps and bounds. Like I looked them up, and I have about a 65% performance increase per core over what's in the consoles. And like I said, this is an old chip in my CPU, and
yeah,
the difference is they have 8 core single threaded. I have 12 core multi-threaded. So it's just like, man, a lot of my games, like even the games that are well scaled, like The Division, which scaled really well and looked amazing,
mm,
I was still only running at like, maybe 60% CPU usage, but that doesn't even really count because I was recording most of the time that I was playing.
mm,
So it was probably more likely around like, 50% CPU usage with everything maxed. And I mean, the game looked and ran great. It was beautiful, but I know that there's still stuff being left on the floor.
yeah. Well, I don't know. This could be pretty nice as well from like a PC gamer perspective, where if they're going to be iterating these things and making them bigger and better, that and upgrading the hardware and things over every year or two, maybe this could draw a little more love to like the port community, bringing games over to the PC.
Yeah, and honestly, like I'm hitting the point. Like this is the first console generation I haven't owned.
Yeah,
Like
same here.
like I said, like I had an NES when I was a kid. My parents' NES became my NES, which I
Hmm.
still own to this day. I got a Super Nintendo,
Yeah, I
so
still
on and
have
so
mine.
forth. Yeah, like I have every game console and almost every game. I've only sold games twice, and I regret that to this day. I sold a bunch of games, including you're gonna make fun of me. I sold a bunch of games, including the OG Xbox version of Half-Life 2, so that way I could buy a Wii. Yeah.
Like that ran so bad, and like I hated the original Half-Life 2 for that for the amount of like load screens.
It's
You know,
great
like
now if you run it off an SSD.
I thought it was going to be like one long seamless thing with like obvious transitions, like going into buildings, being like a spot and stuff like that. But like then I played it on the console, and it was a load screen like every 15 seconds.
Yep.
Like you're killing a couple guys and you're walking across the room, and then he loads again, and it's forever.
Yep. Not a good port, but I mean that was I was real. I'm still real hardcore into Half Life, and I did not have a PC that could even come close to running that game. So that was a life sentence for me.
I ran Half-Life 2 at like 800 by 600 with everything turned off for the longest time, and it still ran like shit.
I mean, when the Source engine, the original Source engine came out, it was a marvel of engineering. Like I go back and watch like the Half Life, like the videos from like, oh my god, these networks don't even exist anymore.
Hmm.
Like I'm thinking like go back and watch G4 or go back and watch game trailers from that time. Two things that are dead now. And like look at like the E3 coverage when that was announced, and it was people were just losing their goddamn mind. It was like, oh my god, this looks so good.
Yeah.
But this is completely off topic. I honestly for I'm hoping that the consoles that we don't see another console generation after this. I don't want consoles to go away because I don't think that's fair. Not everybody has the time and patience for PC gaming, and I can understand that. It's real
Hmm.
convenient to have a console and just toss some shit in there. Like Ben, I was telling you right before we got on this call that I thought my computer might be crashing. Right?
Hmm.
I got an error when I started my computer. Well, when I turned my monitors back on, because I rarely shut this down. But when I turned my monitors on, there was an error sitting there telling me I was out of available system memory.
Hmm.
I have 24 fucking gigs of system memory, and it's telling me I'm out of available system memory right before my system crashes. I'm like, oh, well, shit.
Sounds like you had a memory leak.
Sounds like I left Chrome open overnight.
That too.
But, that's a scary thing to see. And, I have 10 years IT background experience. Like, system error doesn't mean shit for me. I'll just sit there and I'll work on it until it's fixed.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't mind sitting there and with 24 RAM sticks, just sitting there swapping them out. Got to find the one that's bad. Okay, I think this one's bad. Now I got to test all the rest of the RAM slots and make sure that none of the RAM slots are bad. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's old school PC troubleshooting. You try everything you can until you can definitively narrow it down to the exact point of failure. Like,
Yep.
I don't mind that. I like that. Like
Yeah.
I can spend a weekend doing that, but I know most people just when they want to play a game, they just want to sit down and play their fucking game.
Yeah.
So
And I'm not sure what they're gonna do with these consoles. If they're gonna be like releasing whole new units, or if it's gonna be some kind of upgradable slot, or
I like the thought of a rolling upgrade generation. Like, they don't they're on x86 now.
hmm.
They're on AMD parts. AMD parts, like I know that you're not a fan of AMD.
Yeah.
AMD scales really fucking well though. Like their last three generations, their GCN Graphic Core Next
Hmm.
platform is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It runs DX9 and DX10 like shit, but DX11 and DX12, holy shit, it's so good. It
Yeah.
is it's literally so it scales better than the Nvidia stuff, which I know, everybody has new shit coming out soon, so we'll see what happens at the end of this year. But it scales so good when developers actually take advantage of it, like, multi-card rendering
Yeah.
works amazingly, like better than it scales better in multi-card and properly configured, not using GameWorks, I mean stuff than SLI does. It takes advantage of more of the DX12 and then the Vulkan
Hmm.
code set to actually get like a lot of power out of a little bit of stuff. So they're both built on that stuff, so they have room to grow.
Yeah.
I would love for them to just even if it's like every other year, just do a refresh on it. I know that it's going to lead to fragmentation in the market, but it's all x86 anyways,
Yeah.
so who cares?
Well, then you're gonna end up with people buying, games, current games, while still being two generations back, like you do on PCs, and they get bitching about, why doesn't this run on my system? I've got the PlayStation 4. Why doesn't it run? It says it's gonna run on this, and it doesn't.
Yeah, but at the same time, AMD just announced, like, I think it was at GDC, as a matter of fact, or just before GDC, they've announced an open standard for hooking up additional GPU, CPU power external so that way laptops can be used for gaming again.
Yeah, I forget what that was called. That was actually something I was going to bring up later on. You know, as a sidebar, like Razer, the keyboard mice manufacturer and laptops as well, just announced their new external brick that can be loaded up with external cards for more power in their laptops.
Yeah.
It runs a lot better right now with Team Red, which I think is kind of funny because they're a green company
Yeah.
in all their marketing and their designs, but they're working with both sides, AMD and Nvidia, to get this working a lot better, so that you can have like a boost of power when you're at home or something like that on your system. It's not meant to be portable, but um, you know, it's gonna work and
But I
it's
mean,
gonna look nice.
it's good. Like, I was a laptop gamer for a while, and when I was home sitting with it, like, my laptop hooked up to my big monitors and everything,
Hmm.
I would love to get, like, an extra kick of performance,
Hmm.
and then still have the ability to take it with me, even if I can't play games on the go, because sometimes I'm not playing games. I know that's weird, but,
Yeah,
I do shit outside of gaming. But, it's something that I think that they could implement in the consoles, even if they have to do a hardware refresh. It'd be good to have, like, an okay base console, which is relatively cheap, and then just do every 2 years, even if it's like every other generation, just do like a mid-end CPU GPU combo that you can just not even slot in, just plug into the back, and boom, you've doubled your performance.
yeah, do like a slide-in box kind of deal.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of like what they're doing with the VR stuff.
Oh, like
Um,
with the PS4 VR.
yeah, the PSVR, the looking at a picture here, I don't have like a full blowout of what all it's going to be, but it looks like it's going to be a set-top box as well with a couple additional things plugged into it. Um, it's going to be a lot of cabling to worry about to do this kind of stuff, but they announced that the price is going to be about $400 or maybe 460. It's not
It's
100% certain yet
400 for
because
just the headset and
and
for
you need the
for like the
camera.
core. Yeah. But like when you bought the PS4 at launch, a lot of the bundles came like for the first 6 months of the console release, a lot of them came with the camera.
Yeah, which people throw away like the Connect.
Yeah. But now they need it again,
Yeah,
which
and
I think
now
is
all that
great.
stuff on eBay is skyrocketed in price.
But I mean, so I'm of two minds on the PSVR. I'm excited because and we'll talk about this more when we get into more VR stuff. I'm real excited about VR. And I'm going to tell you my platform of choice. I don't think I've told you yet, and you're going to call me a fucking idiot. I can't wait.
Why don't we just jump into it now then? Because
Yeah,
we're
let's
just
just.
about out of topics, and this is a good place to go into it.
I mean, there's a lot of VR shit that we have to go over.
I really think PSVR could be like begrudgingly the winner of this because they've got the best ability to have, you know, or they've got the biggest chance for the most market share. Okay, there's a lot of people out there with PCs, there's a lot of people out there with PS4s, but there's a lot of people out there with PS4s that can just get this set up and go with it. Only spending an extra 400, maybe $460, on top of, versus like what a PC person would have to do, buying at minimum a 970 or, a 390X or a 380X from AMD, or going and buying like, you need a quad core as well or higher, maybe even like a 6 core system, buttloads of memory, the displays and everything like that. You have to be able to run it at such a high resolution and a high frame rate to make it work on the PC. I think with the PS4 having just this box that you plug into it will make the adoption rate a little bit higher and people will pick up on it a lot more.
See, I don't know if that's going to be the case, and time will tell. Like, we'll see this holiday season. By the way, the PS4, PSVR, as it's called, has an expected announce of October. Not any day in October, just we will be launching in October. There's
Yeah.
31 days in that month. Just pick one, and you'll probably be wrong. But it's $400 for the base unit, and then it's actually $500 for the one that comes with the PS Move wands and the camera. Which, by the
Yeah.
way, the camera's required, and it's not coming with the camera. I can understand since a lot of the launch consoles came with the camera,
Hmm.
but still, I feel like saying it's $400 when we know that at this point the vast majority of PS4 owners don't have that camera. It feels a little bit disingenuous.
Hmm.
It feels a lot like they're trying to say, "Oh, we're $200 cheaper than your next best option." when in reality you're not. Like if you look at the raw price, hiccup, sorry. If we look at the raw price, it's $400 for the VR kit, and that includes the breakout box, the headset, and all the cabling that you need. Then it's $60 for two of the Move controllers, which some games are going to require. Most games apparently are going to require. And then it
Yeah.
is 50
Why
bucks for
wouldn't you
the
want to have both
camera.
of them?
What was that?
Why wouldn't you want to have both of them? Like, the two controllers thing.
Yeah,
Like, I would think
especially
making that a
since
requirement would be a good idea.
yeah. But I mean, like, they have a light on the controller itself, which, not every. I don't want every VR experience to be me doing this.
Yeah.
So I
You
can
don't want the
understand
waggle of the
wanting a
Wii
controller.
again.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I don't want Waggle 2.0. If you remember the Wii generation, everybody complained about the Waggle.
Yeah.
Like Zelda for the Wii, the original Twilight Princess. This is how you had to attack.
Yeah.
And in the commercials, they showed people doing this. But when you're playing a 15, 20, 30-hour game, you're just going to end up just
Yeah.
FAP
So,
Simulator.
15 minutes into it, you get tired of swinging your arm around like an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I worked at Circuit City at the time, and we would do tennis tournaments weekly in the break room, which, by the way, if you remember Circuit City from back in the day, we didn't give a fuck about you.
No.
Fuck you.
No.
Fuck you. If you came into our store, fuck you.
I spent quite a bit of time at a Circuit City back then.
That's why we're out of business. But yeah, no, we did weekly tournaments, and first week everybody was just like, up. We were playing doubles. We had two people over here, everybody doing this. By week 3, it was everybody just sitting on the sofa in the break room doing,
Yeah.
and then cursing at each other. Lots of cursing, and a good amount of alcohol drinking. Man, Circuit City was kind of a party. The place sucked, but it was kind of a party. But yeah, I feel it's disingenuous. I feel like they're trying to undercut the competition.
I think it could work.
I don't know because I'm going to tell you the platform I picked. I am probably very soon going to invest in an OSVR headset. Have you even heard of OSVR yet?
No, sir.
All right. That is the open source VR team. Like there a lot of news from GDC came out about them. Unreal Engine 4 now supports them natively. Unity Crytek
It's a
support them natively.
Razer-backed product.
Yeah, it is backed by Razer. Do you remember back in the day on the Ishist podcast when Cliff would whip his penis out and stroke it, talking about the Leap Motion?
No.
You don't remember like the Cliff?
That
If
must.
you're watching this, I'm calling you out because you had such a hard on for the Leap Motion. It was that thing where you could control windows by just doing this with your fingers. And
Oh, the camera on
hands.
top of your system.
Yeah, it supports that, and the new videos from the Leap actually look pretty cool.
Mm.
So I'm waiting for the Leap kit to come out where it comes with the headset and the Leap Motion attachment on it. So Cliff, you were right in the long run. I'm sorry for making fun of you just now, but fuck you, Cliff. Like it looks real interesting, but here's the thing: like for that one with the headset, the camera for positional tracking, the same resolution screen but a lower persistence screen. Actually, they might be using the same screen because they're both 1080p, 120 hertz screens, OLED screens. But like you get the tracking, it comes with the camera, 100 hertz refresh rate camera. So actually, pretty good camera when you're talking about using it for positional tracking. And for the Leap Motion, which can do full hand detection, which if you haven't seen the videos for the Leap Motion Orion in VR, you need to look it up. It's so fucking cool. But all that only costs $370 on the OSVR platform.
Yeah.
And it can run on mid-range PCs. They don't have the insane
Well,
requirement that,
I guess that's all
the
going
other
to come
guys
down
have.
to support for games and like which one's out there.
Well,
They
they're
can manage
integrating
to
Steam VR support.
right.
So
Okay, so yeah, it's like what they can make work with what's already out there and what's already in the um already out there in the market.
yeah. And
'Cause, like,
apparently
That sounds pretty cool. If they could do that, I might be interested in something like that.
dude, look it up. It looks real fucking cool. That's why.
But like, I'm not dropping another $700-800 on my system to upgrade to be able to use like Oculus or something. That not to mention the price on top of that.
Yeah, my system should be able to run Oculus with all the hardware that's in there. Like seriously, I have. I've spent way too much money on this desktop. I should be able to run Oculus and Vive just fine, except for the fact that with all the hardware that I have, I still have to buy an add-in card because I don't have enough USB
USB
3
ports.
slots.
Yeah, way to
You,
go.
you know, for the Oculus, you can't even use a hub. It needs direct connection.
Great.
Yeah. So
I might be okay still.
keep that in mind
I have
if you want
four
an
on the back
Oculus.
and four on the back and two on the front.
It needs three USB 3 and one USB 2. So
I'm good.
yeah, all mine are taken with additional drives and recording equipment. So I can't spare. Like I need a PCI add-in card at this point for any of that.
Ugh.
Yeah, that just feels nasty.
Where, what year are you living in? The early '90s?
Um, my system has, I think it's 16. I got two up front. I have a six cluster in the back, and then I have an additional four in the back. They're all taken save for one. So,
Nice.
like I have drives, I have recording and mixing stuff in there. I have cameras plugged in. I have a dedicated. The one that's by itself is because it's part of a two-port with its own direct connection, which is just for camera stuff. Which, hold on, my dog's ain't ready to unplug everything. Samus. My dog's name is Samus, named after the Nintendo character.
Yeah, I got it. Shut up.
That wasn't for you. You already knew that. This is for the audience. Samus, go over there. She's been sleeping on my feet, and she woke up and said, "I'm gonna unplug everything." I mean, I'm excited about VR. I know I know I call myself the cheap old gamer, but I know that you're even cheaper than me.
Yeah.
And you just basically said that you weren't planning on dropping an extra, couple $100 for upgrades. But like, what do you feel as far as the state of VR is? Like, what items and things are you looking forward to?
The powder keg is set, and this is either going to be one hell of a fireworks show or one hell of a dud.
I,
Like,
I
like
like that.
seriously, like there's so much writing on this, and everyone's been pumped about this for years, and it's finally here, and it's about to go off. And like I said, it's either going to be great or it's going to be horrible. It's going to be uh, the late '90s all over again.
Oh,
Some people are worried about how this is going to affect their heads, and how long they're going to be able to do this kind of stuff. Like, I don't know if you remember the VR headset that Nintendo put out years and years ago, the VR Boy. Granted, that
yeah, the
was like,
Virtual Boy. I had one. I still have one.
yeah,
It's somewhere.
granted that thing was only two colors, red and black. Um, like people can only sit and use that for so long, and some people have talked about motion sickness and problems with the current VR setup. You know, is this going to be able to take off without people getting sick or lawsuits blasting off from people getting injured or something like that?
Oh yeah, I agree. Ben, here, I apologize so much. Somebody's knocking at my front door. Let me see what that is. I'll be right back. Tell me more about VR though while I'm gone.
No.
Well, here, I'll be back. If I ever release this on on audio only, this is going to be a cut. But we're going to take a 30-second break. I'll be right back, Ben. Okay?
All right.
And I'm back.
And I forgot to unmute the microphone.
Yeah. So my neighbors have this really adorable little puppy
Hmm.
that just loves me. His name's
Hmm.
Mr. Benjamin,
Hmm.
and
Great name.
yeah, he's a blue and white mix pit bull,
Hmm.
and he's like maybe 3 months old at this point. He
Hmm.
loves me,
Hmm.
and he was outside my door and kept insisting to come say hi. So the little girls from next door were knocking on my door because Mr. Benjamin had to say hi. So
Oh boy.
I got to play with the puppy, and my dog didn't move from the sofa. I'm sorry, Samus. I still love you. I'm just recording. So yeah, that's. I apologize about that, but I am back, and we're gonna finish steamrolling through this. So yeah, I'm. Let's go back to the PSVR for a moment. I'm
Mm.
actually surprised. I know I shouldn't be because we're talking about Sony, but I thought in my heart of hearts that Sony was going to announce PC compatibility with this.
I don't know because like they still don't have an official way to use their controller on the PC, do they?
That's a good point. I
I
think that
still think you're using like DS Fix or something
there's like officially
or
unofficial
DS4.
ways,
Yeah.
yeah. But like I just thought like with all the hubbub, like if they announced a $500 thing that had open hooks, like I shouldn't be surprised because they don't also release their games on PC. Their
Hmm.
games are tied very strongly into their console.
Which is unfortunate because those are the games I want to play.
A lot of the cross-platform games I want to play are usually Sony games. Not as much anymore,
Hmm.
but yeah, like a good amount. Like I still haven't played Last of Us, and I kind of that game almost made me buy a PS4.
Yeah.
Not your cup of tea.
No, I'm just not interested in that one.
Uh, but yeah, I genuinely thought that they were going to end up releasing a console version and say, or not a console, but a PC version and say, and it's available on PC. Just plug it in. Here's the minimum requirements. Have you seen what like the breakout box that comes with the PS4? What it does?
No, I just saw the picture of like an overview shot of all the pieces.
When I saw that at first, I thought, man, it's weird that they are showing pictures of a PS4 in this, and then I realized, oh wait, that's their co-processor box,
Hmm.
which apparently for the headset that doesn't do any additional processing.
Hmm.
Apparently for the headset, all the processing comes from the main console itself, which is kind of amazing.
Mm.
But that also, I think, means that they probably are not going to have the most pretty games on their headset.
Yeah.
I'm,
I don't
I,
know.
I don't
It
think that they're going to come out ahead. Like you were saying that they are, I don't think they are.
In terms of adoption, I think they might have the best shot, but
It costs
uh,
more to buy a PSVR just to get the VR than it does for a console.
yeah.
And I think that's a problem. Like, I was having a discussion with somebody on Reddit the other day about this. I know, oh boy, discussion on Reddit. But like, let's just throw out there and say No Man's Sky, the game that looks like I'm going to lose my life to,
Yeah.
supports PSVR and then supports all the major VR platforms on desktop. Let's be realistic and say that you wanted to build a computer that just barely made like Oculus spec. Everybody's saying that it costs like oh, you're gonna need $1,000 computer and no, you can build that for $750 to $800.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get a pre-made one, but if you're a PC gamer that is looking to drop $600 on a headset, you probably know what the fuck you're doing with parts, or know somebody who does and who's willing to do that for you. So let's just say $800. So you have the 800 for that plus the 600 for that. You have a $1,400 altogether, which it is pretty expensive. It is pretty expensive. Like let's say that instead of that you do the OSVR, and you get like the new fancy one with the finger tracking and everything. You're still looking at almost $1,200.
Yeah.
But if you look at if you don't own a PS4 already and you're wanting to get in, You're looking because it's $500 for the PS VR with the what's it called?
Hmm.
With the camera and two and I
Oh,
think
the
only
PlayStation Eye.
yeah. I think it's that and only one wand, so that's 500 plus an extra 30 for the second PS wand plus the 350 for the actual PS4. You're looking at $880, so it's still not cheap.
Yeah.
Like it is cheap compared to the alternative, but it's still nowhere near what I would say an impulse buy because $880 that is significant. Like even without like let's just say you don't need the second move controller, that's still $850. That still puts you in for me bang for my buck. I would just at that point say fuck it, I'm just going to build a PC and buy a VR headset there.
Well, you're also looking at it as coming into like buying everything all at once. A lot of people already have a PS4.
A lot of people do, and I will say that, but still, $500 to drop on that if you don't have the move camera. Best case scenario, $400 if you have two move controllers and a PSI. It's still not a cheap investment. It's still not an investment I see a lot of people. I don't see. So here's my thing about console gamers. Like I don't have anything wrong with them. I just think that if you're looking for cutting edge, you don't look at console gamers for bleeding edge
No.
stuff. When you look at people who are willing and eager to drop a whole shit ton of money for a product, I look at PC gamers because, I've spent this year, we're in March, I spent $300 on parts for my PC. Did I need them? No, but hey, look, a bunch of SSDs are on sale. Let's put some more in there so that way I have more SSD space. Why? I don't know. Fuck it. I got the available SATA ports.
Yeah.
Like that is like literally my mindset when it comes to my PC. Oh, that looks somewhat affordable. Do I need it? Not now, but I may need it in the future. Let's drop $150 on it just in case. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it sort of mentality.
Yeah.
But console gamers are very much, and this is going back to the upgrade cycle. I think this would be the hardest thing to get either one of the console makers to update, even if it's only like an every now and then, like every 2 or even every 3 year sort of thing. Console gamers kind of just buy it and then say, "I have it. It should be able to do everything."
Yeah.
Like the PS or not even the PS3, but the Xbox 360, they had 4 hardware revisions. They have the original, they have the original shell with an HDMI. They have the Slim and several versions of that using different internal components, but no major redesign on that. And then they have the Mini, like the final one that came out right before the Xbox One came out.
Yeah, it was like the SE or something.
Yeah, I bought my original one that didn't have HDMI, didn't get the HDMI upgrade that the later ones did, and is not tiny and not compatible with any of the new drives that they sold. I still have my original, like, what was it, 20 gig hard drive in my
Something like that.
360, and I used it for the entire lifespan of the 360. Yeah, I got it replaced like 8 times because of the Red Ring of Death, but still, like, I didn't. Like I am a hardcore gamer. I spend a lot, like a significant portion of my income goes for gaming, and I wasn't willing to buy again something that I already had, even if there was like marginal improvements for buying that. So I don't know. I don't know how they expect console gamers to get a high attach rate on this.
I don't know. I think, like I said, it's really it just depends on like how they do the marketing and how they kind of make this available. I think it's something that's just going to be pretty big for Sony. Like they might not be number one. They might be like a strong number two.
Do you think Microsoft has a response to this?
No, the what the hell is theirs called?
HoloLens.
Yeah, that's going to be more of like a business end kind of thing, and I don't think that's going to enter the gaming thing too much.
Every time they show it off, they always include a game, whether it be them playing Minecraft through that or what's the other thing they do? The that one game where like it maps your room and then like it sees your wall and then oh no, there's aliens coming through the wall. You got to shoot them because now it's tracking your hand. Your hand's a blaster.
I have no idea what that's called, but I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, and I mean, I can foresee if they, especially these consoles came out at the wrong time, using the wrong hardware. They came out just before the switch over to 4K
Hmm.
with not enough hardware. So I can understand both the vendors wanting to say, let's introduce new hardware that's actually able to take advantage of this, even if it's just introducing new scalers, so that way the games can run 1080p 60 natively and then upres it really easily to 4K and it look almost like 4K native. I can understand them wanting to do that, just because I'm in the market for a new TV, and I'm having a really hard time justifying a 1080p set purchase with 4K being where it is, and I'm like I've stated, I'm pretty frugal when it comes to that. My living room TV is still a 720p HD TV.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, but for my upgrade, I'm thinking that I don't want to be a gen behind at the start of a new generation. So I can see why the manufacturers want to try and refresh this without doing a total redesign. But like, can you name a hardware change that has outside of the Xbox? Well, I mean, the Xbox 360, I think that did pretty well, right? Like the
Oh yeah,
elite
the 360
versions.
was like the highest end system.
But like, they when they introduced the newer revisions, those sold pretty well, didn't they?
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like the market's not right for a high end investment like VR gaming.
Yeah.
Any other news that you saw that slipped through GDC, which GDC was this past week?
I don't know. I talked about the Razer thing. That one actually looks pretty cool. Like them being able to, bump in more horsepower. But other than that, it wasn't really a whole lot that really grabbed my attention.
Did you see the new? Oh, here's a couple highlights that I've seen. I've been following GDC like a motherfucker. They announced AMD partnering with a company with a new VR AR headset. Did you see that?
No.
I didn't discuss this because I don't think that this is going to be a thing. It's using their is it 7700 or 8800? It's using their latest mobile chip, and it is a all-in-one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it has the two camera lenses on the front, so that way you can see real time the world around you. And it's basically a high-end AMD, not high-end in general, but high-end AMD laptop for built into a VR headset.
Yeah, I heard about that through
Tech
Linus Tech
tips.
Tips. Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna take off. I think it's interesting.
It might be like fun for people to tinker around with, but I don't think it's gonna do
Just
anything.
the specs of the stuff that's in there just isn't enough for it to do what I think is a real VR experience justice.
Yeah.
But then again, it's more powerful than the PS4, and they're able to do VR, so maybe.
Yeah, it's a FX 8800p, an R7 series GPU, 8 gigs of memory, and a 1440p display.
Yeah. And I think, what is it, a
It's
250 gig SSD built into it, integrated in.
yeah, it's called the Sulan Q,
Yeah.
which is the dumbest fucking name I've ever
I mean,
heard.
Sulan's the name of the company. They AMD did not make this. They partnered with a company that made this,
Oh, okay.
and named the company Sulan. So
Still,
yeah, like the 7700. Wait, which processor did you say it was? The P processor,
yeah, the 8800p.
8800P. So I was actually looking at that system. Like I was looking at a laptop for that, with that, just because I thought, oh, AMD doesn't get enough love in the mobile space, and then I looked at what
There's a
that
good reason.
chip was able to do, and I said, oh, I'll go back to looking at i7 laptops.
Yeah, I've worked on a couple AMD based laptops recently, and just sitting there idle with nothing running that overheats.
Yeah, I mean some news leaked out of the next gen Zen and Polaris platforms from AMD. That's their new CPU and GPU respectively
Hmm.
at GDC. Did you hear about their new Polaris from GDC?
But their $1,500 Radeon Pro Duo.
No, that's something else entirely. Which I'm kind of want that, but that's not that. No, they apparently they were not streaming but rendering 4K footage from a game, like real
Mhm.
time rendering, on a passively cooled video card
Nice.
using their next gen video card, which is crazy. Like I can, depending on what I'm rendering, I can hit full fan speed on my XFX 390.
Mm.
Just I have to like crank it to the max, or else I'll overheat. And they're running that passively at 4K, and I'm only doing like 10K, not 10K, 1080p content. So I'm really excited for that next generation. The
Yeah.
Pro Duo though is really interesting. That's the successor to the 7990X2, I
Well,
think.
it's the next step up on the Fury line,
Yeah, it's basically two Fury chips on a single die
and
or
it
a
has
single board.
has three 8-pin PCI Express power plugs.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yes. I was thinking, oh man, maybe I could upgrade to this because I don't know why I thought that the price of that was $1,000.
No, it's only 1,500.
Yeah, and I was like, $1,000, I could maybe justify spending that. And then I saw the, 1,500. I was like, I can't justify that when you can buy two, Fury Nanos for less than $1,200,
Yeah.
and that's the same exact GPU. But I mean, it's cool that it exists. I don't know anybody who's gonna buy it, but do you know why the price is so high on that?
It's isn't like in line with their um
Oh, like that is the fastest single GPU that you can buy right now. The Titan,
right.
not even the Titan can keep up with that, especially if you're looking at
Well,
next gen
that's also
tech.
running HBM. It's not,
Yeah, 8 gigs of
per card.
HBM. Yeah, but like they're also, instead of doing a separate Fury, Fury version for the consumer and then Fire Pro version
Mm.
for
The non-consumer.
like engineers and
Yeah.
business class, they just did one card for both. So
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason, because that it's as expensive as it is.
Yeah.
I don't think the performance per dollar is there. I think that would give you the best experience on the market, especially in stuff that would take advantage of both of the GPUs properly.
Yeah.
But that's like, a 2 year down the road thing with Vulkan and DX12. And yeah, I mean, I think that about covers everything. What do you say?
I think we're good.
I mean, anything you want to plug this week?
Not this week, no.
All right. Well, I have I made a real dumb video about the Division and closing car doors. That's on the YouTube. Just I'm not gonna put an annotation here because I can't be bothered. And then a couple games that I'm working on for some new content. So just keep an eye out for that. I have some Unity Fun Time coming up soon. Which, oh my god, Unity games. And other than that, just take care. See you again. And Ben, do you think we can do this like every other week going
You try
forward?
that.
I mean, I like the experience so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you guys in 2 weeks. Peace.
All right, take it easy.
We should fade out or something. We're off.